Snow is falling on the city of Prague. Soft white, against a sharp black skyline, it dances around the castle spires and wisps past the patient statues of the Church of St. Nicholas. It flurries over fast food restaurants' glowing signs, drifts down on cobblestones, tarmac, and tram lines. Old women in headscarves shiver, and street vendors selling hot sausages stamp their feet in Wenceslas Square. Bleary young tourists' teeth chatter outside bars in the old town. A tall man and a small girl stalk through the snow. The man wears a long black coat and a Homburg hat. He clutches a cane. The girl's black coat reaches her ankles, where purple and black striped socks disappear inside heavy black boots. She looks 9 or 10, with a pale, round face framed by long black hair. They cut briskly across the old town square, past grumbling workmen struggling to erect a huge 80-foot Christmas tree, past the house where a famous writer lived an unhappy life long ago, past an ancient cemetery crammed with graves, like a smashed mouth filled with broken teeth. For each of the man's long strides, the girl must take 3, yet she easily matches his angry pace. The city grows older around them as they walk. The light is fading, the day turning blue beneath a heavy slate sky. The snow is beginning to lie. It crumps under their feet. It frosts her hair like icing sugar. It gathers in the nooks and crannies of the strange metal straps that encase each of his boot heels like heavy surgical supports. They come, eventually, to a narrow street, barely more than an alley between aging buildings, dark, save for a single yellowy light burning in a shop window, bearing a sign painted in cheerful red, Beckman's Toys. Behind the words, heavy red curtains frame a dusty display. Monkeys wearing fez hats brandish symbols. Ventriloquists' dummies leer secret smiles at blushing Victorian dolls. Black bats hang from black threads alongside ducks with propellers on their heads, and wooden policemen with bright red noses. Machine guns and ray guns, farting cushions, furry spiders, and fake bloody fingers. A line of robots marches through this chaos. Tiny cowboys and cavalrymen battle rubber dinosaurs at the feet of fat tin spaceships. The man in the long black coat pushes open the door, ushering the girl in ahead. A bell actually rings, a pleasing old sound of polished brass in the musty dim as they step inside. Around them, the little shop is a cluttered cosmos of toys. Squadrons of fighter planes and hot air balloons swarm the ceiling. Sailboats and rocket ships patrol shelves. Teddy bears are crammed into corners with rocking horses and dogs on wheels. Bright things, new and old, of plastic, lead, and wood, fake fur, and cheap metal. When they are certain there is no one else in the shop, the girl flips the sign from open to closed. Snapping the lock, she stands with her back to the door and folds her arms. The man strides to the counter, heading on toward the back room, when a figure emerges from in there, pushing through the rattling hanging beads, holding scissors and a roll of brown tape. A small man with severely cropped grey hair and big, round glasses, thick lenses reflecting the light, shabbily dressed but for an incongruously bright yellow with black polka dots silk scarf knotted at his throat. A torn-off strip of brown tape hangs from the end of his nose. "Snow is falling," this little Beckman sings in a high burble, still frowning down at the tape in his hands. "Christmas is coming." Looking up to blink happily at his visitors, he stops abruptly. The roll of tape drops from his hands. He swallows with difficulty. "Nyem," he licks his lips. "Did you get him?" The girl solemnly shakes her head. Pouting a frown that mockingly mirrors Beckman's own, she twists her knuckles at the corners of her eyes in a boo-hoo pantomime, before refolding her arms. Beckman swallows again as the tall man leans across the counter. You had it. No, please, I can explain, Beckman begins, backing away. The man looms farther over him, reaching out a sharp, pale hand. Beckman flinches, grabs protectively at the scarf around his neck, and lets out a girlish shriek, it could be the word no, as the man rips the tape from his nose. Beckman laughs, a nervous and treacly too loud giggle. He pretends to relax as the tall man rubs the tape into a ball between his slender grey fingers and lets it drop. Tape, Beckman babbles, on my nose. Always I'm putting it there, forgetting, packaging up a gift, a horse, going to a little girl in Germany, near my old hometown. A lovely little horsey for a lovely little girl. He tries a grin on the girl. It curdles and dies as she glares back. She picks a toy revolver from a shelf. Still unsmiling, she aims at him, pulls the trigger. Without a sound, a tiny flag unfurls from the snout, bearing a single word. Bang. Now, Beckman stumbles on faster. Please, I can explain. Yes, you just have to believe me. He trails off. In the toy shop silence, he has heard a small, distinct click. Now the girl starts smiling. You had it, the tall man in black says once more, and you let it go. He raises his arm again, and there is something small and sharp, silvery and slivery in his hand, arcing down through the warm reddish air as all the monkeys and cowboys and ducks and dogs and dolls look on with their glass and painted eyes. For the next few seconds, the sounds inside this toy shop are muffled and breathy, desperate, wet, and horrid. Outside, snow is falling on the city of Prague. Lights are flickering on in the streets and squares and up in the mysterious windows of the high castle. White globe lamps glow along black bridges over the river, reflections restless in the cold, dark water. The snow falls. People hurry through the streets, and it covers all their tracks.